Hey guys, Stealth here. Today we're going to have a look at what the major differences are between Wargame Red Dragon and Steel Division 2. Because while they might look like similar games, and while they might come from the same developer, they are in fact quite different. These are the 10 major differences that you need to understand in order to play the game. Starting with number 1, units in Steel Division do not have hit points. Especially vehicles make for a significant change from Wargame Red Dragon. Because while in Wargame Red Dragon, let's say one of your vehicles gets hit, it might survive the impact and it's still going to have a couple of hit points left. In Steel Division 2, that is definitely not the case. There is basically a distinction between your vehicle either gets killed or it does not get killed. It might take some damage, but this is not damage to hit points. This can be damage to the crew or damage to the modules on the tank. The only sort of overlap that these two games have is where your units, such as infantry, get reduced in squad size. But even there, the change is quite significant. Because where in Wargame you can actually reinforce a squad once it's taken some damage, once it's done some battle, in Steel Division you cannot. If your squad gets hurt, if it loses a couple of guys, tough luck. No reinforcements for you. Number 2, Veterancy. The veterancy of a unit indicates how effective it's going to be on the battlefield. More veteran units generally have better accuracy, but also recover from panic faster. This is the same for Steel Division and Wargame Red Dragon. The key difference between both games is how they handle how units get those promotions. Because in Wargame Red Dragon, units get promoted gradually. If they've proven themselves effective in the field, if they killed some high-value targets, then they're going to get a promotion. In Steel Division 2, units are not granted these battlefield promotions. So no matter how effective a unit is going to be, it just does not get promoted. And this is where the leaders come in. Leaders can boost the veterancy levels of units in their surrounding area. Unfortunately, if a leader then proceeds to die, all units in its surrounding area lose that level of veterancy. So make sure you keep your leaders alive, as they are the only way to keep your units effective, or to make your units more effective than they normally are. Number 3, planes. Fortunately, both Steel Division and Wargame Red Dragon have planes. However, the way that these things are handled is quite different. In Red Dragon, you have 9 slots for aircraft. If you have all 9 slots used, then you cannot buy any additional aircraft, no matter how many you have left in your deck. In Steel Division 2, you don't have this problem. You can buy as many planes as you like, and you're going to see a list on the bottom left-hand side of the screen that indicates all the aircraft and their subsequent statuses. Another important change in the way that planes are handled in Steel Division as opposed to Red Dragon is their speed. If you're a Red Dragon player and you're jumping over to Steel Division, then those aircraft are going to seem painfully slow. The first time I called in an aircraft, it was a spotter plane, and I thought, oh nice, a fast spotter plane. It turned out that the spotter plane was traveling at 110 kilometers per hour. If you're coming from Red Dragon, where units zoom across the map at almost 1000 kph, then that is a massive change. So get used to planes having far less speed and having to be called in far more in advance. Give them more time to arrive. Number 4, the phase system. Steel Division 2, like Steel Division 1 before it, has a phase system. This means that the battle is divided up in 3 phases. Phases A, B, and C. In Phase A, B, and C, you can bring in units that have that particular tag for your deck. It does work in a cumulative fashion though. In Phase B, you can bring in units from Phases A and B, and in Phase C, you can bring in units from all phases. It does give you a couple of very important design decisions though for your deck, because units in Phase A are usually not that numerous. Units in Phase B are slightly more so, and units in Phase C are the most numerous. However, you might want to actually defeat the enemy already by Phase B. So does that mean that you're going to go for more units in Phase C or more units in Phase B? And of course, the veterancy also plays in effect here, because the more units that you have with higher veterancy, the lower their availability and the lower your total number of forces. Another very important thing in regard to this phase system is that it is tied to a level of income per phase. Now fortunately this is up to you. When you're building your deck, you can indicate what type of income system you want. Do you want most of your points to come in Phase A, so you can field a lot of units early on? Or do you want to be more of a steamroller in Phase C and get most of your income there? This, of course, is once again going to be a very important factor in how you play the battle and how that particular deck is going to handle. So this is going to take quite a bit of getting used to and will require quite a lot of fine-tuning of your decks and playstyle over your playtime. Number 5, the way that Conquest is done. Both games have Conquests, but the way that they execute it is quite different. Wargame Red Dragon uses a sector system. If you have one command vehicle in a sector, you capture the sector. If the enemy party also puts a command vehicle in there, the sector gets neutralized. Command vehicles are completely absent in Steel Division 2, and instead we have the flag system. Spread across the map, you're going to find a whole load of flags. Move a unit close to the flag, and the position is yours, so long as there are no enemy units nearby. Because the more enemy units are nearby, the bigger the chances are that the enemy team is going to capture that point. This creates a flowing frontline system, and this is something that is also known from Steel Division 1. The front line is going to be far more maneuverable and far more back and forth than you are familiar with in Wargame Red Dragon. Number 6, and this is a critical one, the battle scope, or how zoomed in you need to be. In Wargame Red Dragon you can usually keep all of your units on one screen, while you don't have to be zoomed out too far. If you don't zoom out far enough in Steel Division 2, you're not going to be seeing everything that might be a threat to your units. This is something that you will have to get used to, because the threat range or the battle range is far greater in Steel Division 2 than it is in Wargame Red Dragon. Sure enough, in Red Dragon you can have an aircraft come off screen and somehow snag away your tank. In Steel Division 2 that is not likely to happen, but that enemy panzer on your far right at 2 kilometers away, he might. So be sure to be zoomed out a whole lot further, otherwise you're going to miss critically important things. Number 7, damage to vehicles. The games handle damage to vehicles very different. In Wargame Red Dragon you can have firing computers which are being reset by impacts, or you can have, for example, optical failures. But these things are all repaired automatically. You don't need a logistics vehicle to come side by side with that vehicle and repair the damage. In Steel Division 2 you definitely do, because all damage to vehicles is permanent unless repaired by a logistics vehicle. This means that a unit might get its turrets stuck, or a unit might have a transmission that is damaged and be far less maneuverable in the field. Bring a logistics vehicle close to the unit and it's going to take some repairs. A critical thing in Steel Division 2 is that your crew can get knocked out, or the crew can be bailed out. If that happens, then again you're going to have to bring in a logistics vehicle, otherwise the tank won't be useful at all. Number 8, the deck rating system. The deck rating system indicates how good a deck is at defending or attacking. A deck with an A level rating is going to be very good at attacking, but not so good at defending positions. In contrast, a deck with a C rating is very good at defending, but not so good at attacking. These differences are going to be especially important if you're playing the breakthrough mode, where offensive decks, so A ratings, are going to be very effective in actually trying to break through, whereas the C rating decks might be more effective at defending. These C rating decks generally also have more slots for the defensive structures that you can place down than the A level decks do. So again, pick your deck wisely, because it will influence the outcome of the battle. For number 9 we have the unit icons. I find the unit icons in Wargame Red Dragon to be far more clear than the ones that you have in Steel Division 2. In Wargame Red Dragon you know exactly what you're looking at. Is this a tank? Is this an IFV? Is this a helicopter? You know exactly what sort of unit is in front of you. In Steel Division 2 they do have unit icons, but they are a little bit less clear. And this is something that I'm still quite struggling with. I am not that familiar with all the units from World War II. And this means that you might not know exactly what sort of unit you were asking to do a particular job. Send the wrong unit to do the wrong type of job, and of course it's going to immediately get killed off. It might just be a learning part on my end, where I still have to figure out which unit icon means what sort of unit. But overall I think Steel Division has too many different unit icons and can slim it down to make it more understandable for newer players. and I hope that they're going to introduce this in a future patch. And finally, helicopters, or the complete lack thereof in Steel Division 2. It might sound obvious, there's no helicopters in World War II, but it has, if you're coming from Red Dragon, quite a few tactical and strategical implications. No more fast flanking maneuvers, no more heli rushes, no more units which you can quickly throw to the front line to capture positions. Helicopters can be very versatile units in Red Dragon, and you're going to have to make do without those if you're switching over to Steel Division. So make sure that you have some sort of fast unit in your deck that might be able to fill in gaps as helicopters used to in Wargame Red Dragon. And there you have it. These are, for me, the most important changes between Steel Division 2 and Wargame Red Dragon. There are no doubt things that I have overlooked, elements that I have not discussed, and things that you consider critical differences. Be sure to leave those down in the comments below so other people can keep an eye on those and have a look at the elements that I probably missed. Aside from that, let me know what your thoughts are on both the games. Do you like the way that Steel Division 2 is going? What do you think are the main differences between Steel Div 2 and Red Dragon? And are you going to stay with Red Dragon, or are you going to move over to Steel Division 2? Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more videos.